Hi there! So, last time on this channel I've discussed times when David Bowie did something so clever in the studio with his voice and sense of melody that he couldn't or wouldn't replicate it, let alone surpass it on stage. Given his reputation as a performer, it's only fair that I take a deep dive into the opposite. And a great example of this is the Ziggy Stardust 1973 farewell gig, and more precisely the song Time, from of course the Aladdin Sane album. The date is July 3rd, 1973, and that was the official death on stage of the Ziggy Stardust character, even though he reprised this material later on for a TV special, but we'll talk about this. Let's break down in way too much detail than necessary a particular string of lines that got massively improved on this live version as compared to the Aladdin Sane album version, and then promptly forgot about by Bowie himself. That is the first chorus, and I say chorus for lack of a better term because this song has an unusual structure. With the verses gradually building into a repetitive chord sequence in C, that's sort of the chorus. I'm purposefully not using the video version of the song, so that we don't get distracted by the physicality of the performance. Let's start with the lines just before the chorus. First, the original Aladdin Sane version.
Time in quaaludes and red wine, demanding Billy dolls and other friends of mine. Take your time.
Then the Ziggy OST version.
Time in quaaludes and red wine, demanding Billy dolls and other friends of mine.
One thing that is quickly clear is the change of tempo. We go from something like 73 BPM on the original to about 77 BPM on the Ziggy OST. That's 5 BPM faster, which is, as we will see going further, is already enough to give the Ziggy OST version more urgency and intensity, which arguably suits better the time is running out, impending doom feel of the song. There's also a slight improvement on the first phrase, and if you listen closely to the words demanding Billy dolls,
Demanding Billy dolls, demanding Billy dolls.
pretty much the same melody with more of a almost operatic vibrato on the Ziggy Stardust OST. One of the little signs that Bowie's voice was getting richer and more controlled. Now, moving to the first chorus line, we begin to notice something else that's different about the performance. Bowie is no longer dragging the words, but instead shooting them in a quick succession. The original vocals have that languid, decadent, slow-moving pace.
The sniper in the brain, regurgitating drain, incestuous and vain, and many other last names.
Whereas the Ziggy version tends to do just the opposite.
The sniper in the brain, regurgitating train, incestuous and vain, and many other last names.
Combined with a faster tempo, this also gives a lot more urgency to the song. One interesting tidbit that's present in both versions is the way he slightly emphasizes the second syllable on the regurgitating drain. That regurgitating drain as if mimicking the act itself.
regurgitating train. Regurgitating train.
But one important difference is the way he comes down hard on the many other last names.
Many other last names. Many other last names.
The power, even rage, that goes into these last names just sends shivers down your spine and highlights a key change in the way Bowie is performing the same lines. We go from a fragile, almost plaintive rendition to a commanding, angry statement. The Aladdin Sane version is in line with the young, almost teenage-sounding Bowie, the very romantic, slightly weepy delivery of songs like Sagnet Committee on the Space Oddity album.
And I close my eyes and tighten up my brain, for I once read a book in which the lovers were slain, but they knew not the words of the free state's refrain.
The Ziggy OST version is from a performer that wants to project a more mature, imposing persona while still maintaining that sense of grace and a glam vulnerability. The sense of urgency is even more palpable in the following lines.
Oh, well, look on my watch, it says 9:25, and I think, oh God, I'm still alive. You know, I look at the watch, it says 9:25, and I think, oh God, I'm still alive.
Again, we go from lines sung in almost a drawl to something akin to spoken language, a statement of a sheer anxiety that feels very real. And Bowie is sometimes accused of being artificial or detached in these performances. There's something to be said about the way he could overthink his live persona. But here, man, do you believe every word he sings? Now, you would think that having struck genius on stage, Bowie would keep all that good stuff for later. But nope! Playing the song several months later for the 1980 floor show, it was like a TV special, he went back to the slower tempo and did a version that's very close to the Aladdin Sane original. In that respect, the Diamond Dogs tour version that we hear, for instance, on David Live, fares even worse.
The sniper and the brain, regurgitating train, incestuous and vain.
We are down to an insanely slow 65 BPM. While the version has some great vocal ideas, it's just, to me, way too sluggish to generate any intensity or tension. And the Glass Spider Tour version is a tad faster, but...
The sniper in the brain, regurgitating train, incestuous and vain. Many of the last names.
Yeah, well, it's the Glass Spider Tour.
Time and quaaludes and red wine, demanding Billy Joel's and other friends of mine. Take your time.
So here's why I think the 1973 Hammersmith concert remains the best version, and one time when live Bowie blew studio Bowie out of the water and delivered possibly one of his greatest concert performances. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun doing this breakdown, so if you like that sort of stuff, please like and subscribe and ring the bell and all that stuff. I'm off on vacation and see you next month.